You've probably heard the word metaverse thrown around a lot, right? It's been hyped as the next big thing, this multi-trillion-dollar future of the internet. But what's really going on behind all that noise? In this explainer, we're going to cut through the buzzwords. We're looking at the actual code, the crypto, and the huge debates that are shaping our digital future right now.
You know, for a lot of us, this whole thing really started with gaming. We've spent years living in these amazing, complex digital worlds, making friends, building entire communities. But the metaverse, well, it's promising something way bigger. It's talking about a future where there's no line between our physical and digital lives, where the screen just disappears.
And that brings us to the big question, the one we're really digging into today. Is this all just the latest tech bubble, a bunch of corporate marketing and investor hype, or are we actually standing on the edge of a brand new reality?
Okay, so to even try to answer that, we've got to get on the same page. What is this thing we're calling the metaverse? What makes it different from, say, a huge online game that millions of people are already playing? All right, so here's the textbook definition: a persistent, shared 3D virtual space. But honestly, the only two words you really need to focus on are persistent and shared. They are the absolute secret sauce that separates the metaverse from anything we've ever seen before. So first up, you've got presence. That's that feeling, you know? That deep sense of actually being there, sharing a space with other real people. But the second one, persistence, this is the real game changer. It's not like a game lobby that just poofs into thin air when you log off. Nope. The metaverse keeps going. The world inside it keeps changing. History's being made, whether you're there to see it or not.
And listen, this isn't some far-off sci-fi dream. It's happening right now. There are major platforms out there building these worlds as we speak. The two big players on the block right now are Decentraland and the Sandbox, and they have totally different ideas about how to build this new frontier.
And the difference between them is, well, it's huge. On one side, you have Decentraland. It's all about digital real estate, owning your own virtual patch of land. And it's governed by its users through what's called a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. Then you have the Sandbox. It's totally different. It's all about creativity, giving players the tools to build and even make money from their very own games. So one is kind of like a virtual society, and the other's more like a massive virtual arcade.
So how in the world are these things actually built? Well, it really comes down to a mix of two things: incredibly powerful game development software and these really complex new economies built on crypto.
On the software side, you have two titans battling it out: Unity and Unreal Engine. And for developers, this is a major choice. Think of Unity as the speed demon. It's way faster and easier for building things on popular VR headsets like the MetaQuest. Unreal Engine, though, that's the artist. It gives you those absolutely jaw-dropping photorealistic graphics. The catch? It can be years behind when it comes to supporting the very latest. And the amount of money being poured into this stuff is just staggering. I mean, look at Electronic Arts. They're spending more than half of their entire budget on research and development. Roblox, in 2022 alone, invested almost $900 million. These are not small bets. These companies are going all in.
And all that investment naturally fuels some absolutely massive speculation. Take Mana, which is the currency in Decentraland. You've got predictions for 2030 that range from a couple of bucks all the way up to $7 or more. Now, whether these numbers are right isn't really the point. The point is that the stakes feel enormous, and it all hinges on whether or not these virtual worlds truly become a core part of our everyday lives.
But with all that potential, with all that money, comes a dark side. There are massive risks here. And the really scary part is that as we rush to build this new reality, we could end up cementing some of the worst parts of our current world and maybe even create some brand new problems we haven't even thought of yet.
It all starts with a number you might already be familiar with: 30%. Yeah, that's the cut that gatekeepers like Apple and Google take from just about every single transaction in their app stores. It's a huge point of conflict, and it's why companies like Epic Games are taking them to court.
But believe it or not, some platforms take an even bigger slice of the pie. This quote here is talking about Roblox. On their platform, the people who actually create the content, the games, they get less than 20 cents for every dollar spent. They get paid in a special company currency with terrible exchange rates. It's a system that a lot of critics say would just flat out be illegal in the physical world.
So, getting a raw deal on money is one thing. But the most valuable resource in the metaverse? Well, it might just be you. And I'm not talking about your clicks or your likes. I'm talking about your data.
I mean, just think about the kind of data that can be collected when you're fully immersed. They can track the way you walk, your facial expressions, they can recognize your emotions, they can even measure your subconscious physical reactions, like how your pupils dilate, your heart rate, your sweat, even your brain patterns. This is a level of intimate, personal surveillance that is just completely unprecedented.
And here's the real problem. The companies collecting all this incredibly sensitive data have a powerful business incentive not to tell anyone what they're doing with it. As researchers Brandy Noneke and Camille Carlton point out, these companies have almost no legal obligation to open up their data for independent oversight. It's a total black box, and that creates a huge potential for manipulation and harm.
So what this all means is that we are at a crossroads, a huge one. The technology itself, it's neutral. It's just a tool. But that tool could be used to build a future of surveillance and inequality, or it could be used to build a much, much better world.
You can almost picture it, can't you? On one side, you've got this dystopian vision of a world controlled by just a few powerful companies. And on the other, a utopian vision of a world that's more connected, intelligent, and sustainable. And these two possible futures are in a head-to-head battle right now.
So, for a moment, let's explore that positive vision. There's this amazing project called the Tampere Metaverse Vision 2040. And its whole goal is to figure out how we can use these technologies not just for corporate profit, but for the public good, to make our societies happier, more equal, and more sustainable.
Seriously, just imagine being able to create a perfect digital twin of an entire city to test out new policies and figure out how to get to zero waste or become carbon negative. Or in healthcare, picture a surgeon practicing a super complex operation on a patient's exact digital copy before they ever make a single cut. Or using all this data to make our public services actually respond to what people need. I mean, that's the promise.
The core idea that makes this all possible is something called a cognitive digital twin. Now that sounds super complex, but let's break it down. It's not just a static 3D model. No, it's a living system that is constantly pulling in data from the real world, learning from it, and creating this living, breathing digital model. It then lets humans and AI work together to use that model to solve huge common goals, like sustainability. It's like an intelligent feedback loop between the real world and the virtual one.
But, and this is a really big but, we have to be clear-eyed about this. This incredible, positive future is not guaranteed. The exact same technology that can create a carbon-negative city can also be used for mass surveillance. The tools that enable virtual therapy could also become tools for emotional manipulation. The path to utopia is running right alongside the path to dystopia.
So, look, the metaverse isn't just coming. In so many ways, it's already here. The code is being written, the platforms are being built, the rules are being set as we speak. So the only real question left is the one we have to ask ourselves. What kind of world are we going to choose to build with it?